All right. I want to give all glory and praises unto the Lord, Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahawah, and Barakatah Yahawashi. I want to give all glory and praises unto those holy and powerful names of Yahawah being the Father, and Yahawashi being his only begotten Son. This is Brother Malachi coming at you again through the Spirit. Yahawashi, Yahawah, coming the way of Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Baba Kashar, Baba Kashar, Baba Kashar, that the Lord Yahawashi, Yahawah send down the Harakat so that I can be edifying unto the hopeful elect, real quickly. But this is gonna be a lesson. I'm not sure how long it's gonna be or how short it's gonna be. I'm just going strictly throughout the spirit that was on me. But I did have some precepts in mind. But we'll just go where the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shemashah does take us today. But the main focal point of this lesson is about the principal thing, which is two things, you know, which is first thing and foremost is the fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, because we know that through the fear of the Lord, we go to Proverbs, the first chapter and the 7th verse is the beginning of wisdom. And fearing the Lord Yahweh Shai is something that we got to do, got to keep doing, and got to continue to execute, especially if you're new to this faith and new to this truth. Then fearing the Lord is gonna be the number one thing, a priority. I wouldn't I don't know what's more important, or how I wouldn't rank them and be like, oh, you gotta do this first. Man, you just gotta do what you gotta do. But I will tell you, the important things as far as this truth. And then the second thing, not ranking them at all, but is faith in the Lord Yahweh Shai. So we got fear of the Lord Yahweh Shai, and we got faith. So before I get into the main part, we'll go to the precept I quoted, and we'll get that. Salakia, bear with me. Let me just go to Proverbs. And let's start at 2 or 3. Because the principal things, is faith. We'll first fear the Lord Yahweh Shai, and faith in the Lord Yahweh Shai. Because the reason I'm speaking on this topic is because we're coming into some high level Salakia. We're coming into some very high level times of evil that's finna be brought upon this kingdom, that's finna be brought upon these wicked Israelites, the 2/3, that's finna be brought upon the wicked heathens that dwell here in Babylon the Great, because we know that the Lord Yahweh Shai has enmity with this kingdom, with this particular kingdom known as Babylon the Great, and he's going to destroy it. All right, he's going to make it desolate. All right, and that's what the Lord Yahweh Shai has promised, and he's going to redeem, all right, the faithful, the ones with faith, the ones that fear him, through the Spirit, and that's going to be who? The hopeful elect, man, written about in Revelation 7, and then as well as you have the innumerable multitude. But I'm speaking about, the elect right now, the 144,000, the prophets, Lord, wouldn't we be at that number? The prophets of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, we have a certain particular spirit on us to teach this word, fear the Lord, and spread this gospel. You know what I'm saying? And we're really teaching and spreading this gospel for the reason as of to wake up the elect so that they can be sealed, so that they can be have understanding, okay? Because the Lord Yahweh Shai has set us up as the men of the Lord, as watchmen, and we're watching for what? We're watching for the prophecies. We're watching for the enemy. We're watching for these things to come upon the earth so that we can warn you, the people, our people, consisting of so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, and so-called Mexicans, which makes up the house of Israel, from your respective tribes. We're warning you as the men of the Lord of danger, of evil, Raim, which is Hebrew for evil. We're warning you of these things so that we can get the blood off our hands. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to measure the times diligently in and of itself, like it speaks about in 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. And we're measuring the times by the prophecies. And we know, by the prophecies that we're close. Okay, we're close to the famine of the word. We're close to the plagues. We're close, man. All right, and all we got to do is be patient, and a part of being patient, going into that word patient, it means to suffer. You got to suffer these things. You got to suffer, the hatred of our people coming up against us. You gotta suffer your family not knowing nothing, being bugged out. You gotta suffer all that. You gotta suffer this whole world in and of itself, and wait upon the Lord, Yahawashi, because we know that this battle that we're fighting is not a battle of a battle of physicality. It's not to the strongest, the biggest, mightiest, but it's to the one that's gonna stand the test of time, suffer it. Scriptures speak about how that we gotta endure unto the end. All right, and that's gonna take a particular spirit that the Lord Yahawashi, Lord willing, has put upon the men of the Lord. Lord willing, we be of that number, and we're gonna continue to fear the Lord first and foremost, and have faith in the Lord no matter what. Job. We'll get into Job. There's a particular verse I want to bring out with Job. Just one verse. Because I'm really going through the spirit. Through the Kakodash. So bear with me. But like I said, I do have some precepts. That I want to bring out regardless. But first, let's start here in 3. It says to receive instruction, wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity. All right. So let's read that in the NLT on the right hand side. It says their purpose is to teach the people to live disciplined and successful lives, to help them to do what is right, just, and fair. And what is right? What is right? What is right? What is the righteous thing to do within this kingdom? Serve the Lord Yahawashi to the best of our abilities. Now we know that our righteousness is as filthy rags according to the scriptures, but nonetheless we still got to serve the Lord to the best of our ability and put our best foot forward and pray for mercy. Okay, this is what Yahawashi died for, first and foremost, the elect, and then the rest of the nation of Israel when they come back in their right minds under the second covenant. But for right now, we're talking about the elect upon the first resurrection. Okay, and we are trying to beg the Lord Yahawashi for a pardon, ultimately for a mercy, ultimately because we know that we are filthy, we are unclean, we are sinful, and filled with iniquity and things of this nature. Okay, but we still strive for the mercies of David, and still strive for the mercies of Yahawashi. Okay, as long as we believe in him, we're going to be justified. And this is what we're looking forward unto. So we have to acknowledge the Son, which is Yahawashi, ultimately to receive mercy and to receive salvation in these last days. And this is what we're telling you to do. Okay, ultimately, because we are the men of the Lord. All right, now this is verse 4. It says to give subtlety to the simple. So the Lord Yahawashi has made us wise via these scriptures, man. We and wisdom, comes from the scriptures, but it comes from Yahawashi as well. But it also comes from going through things, going through hardships, going through tribulations. And the Lord, the Lord will bring you through tribulations and bring you through hard times and evil. And all those evils are there to do nothing but try your faith, to strengthen your faith, because once you overcome that evil, now you have been tried and your faith has been proven. But that's not the end. It's going to constantly be tried. It's going to constantly be proven. Satan, is constantly sifting the spiritual demon, Satan. And we know that the physical counterpart of Satan on the earth is Esau, Edom, the so-called white woman, man, and child. Okay, these particular, and you got the heathens. I mean, even our own people can be, Satan can come, spiritual demon Satan can come fuck with them to aggravate your purpose. But in that time, you got to use wisdom. You got to use the understanding of what you've been learning, what we've been teaching, and overcome that test. Not all the tests, not all the trials, not all the tribulation that we do catch. Sometimes we do fall, but that's where Yahawashi comes in, and we repent and we get back up. No, we do never just get knocked out. Getting knocked out is getting taken out of this truth, given up, and therefore then what? You have not endured to the end. All right, and then you're gonna die anyway. Because hey, that's what happens to those that don't endure to the end. So anyway, continuing on, it says to give subtlety to the simple and knowledge to the young man, and it says knowledge and discretion. Okay, this is verse 5. The point is in verse 7, but I'm going through it because spirit's on me. But it says, and a wise man will hear. Okay, if we want to be wise, then we have to hear the instructions of the Lord Yahawashi. We cannot shut our ears, okay, into the men of the Lord. And the voice and the mouthpiece of the Lord on the earth today is the men of the Lord, man, the prophets. Okay, that he got set up. The scriptures say that he was going to give pastors according to his own heart. when you go into Jeremiah, I want to say 3:15. We'll get that real quick. You know, I believe, just want to do a little word search for it, shall we? I believe that Jeremiah 3:15. Yeah, Jeremiah 3:15. Call Yahawashi. But it says, I will give you pastors, prophets, leaders. It's all synonymous. Because the pastor does what? Lead the flock, lead the congregation. But the congregation that we're leading is the hopeful elect, the holy elect. Okay, we're separate. Okay, and it says, I will give you pastors according to my heart. So we're teaching you know the ways of the Lord Yahawashi Mashai, the way, the 100% truth, the way that the Lord Yahawashi Mashai intended it to be taught. Okay, we're not teaching you hell doctrine. We're not teaching you the false breakdown of the MOTB. We're not teaching you that it's okay to disrespect and dishonor the Sabbath with foolishness. Okay, we're teaching you the right and correct way, because if we don't teach you the right and correct way, then we're subject to be put in that box as false prophets. And we know that we're not the false prophets, because we're seeking that the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai deliver us. So it's not in all in our spirits as the men of the Lord willing to be at that number to teach you the wrong way, because then we're going to be jacked up. That lessens our chances of getting beamed up and getting on the chariots of Yahweh Shemi Shai. So we're in no way, shape, or form going to do that. But we got men on the planet that's claiming to be the men of the Lord, or claiming to be some sort of leaders. IUIC, Sakari, ISUBK, all these other wayward camps that are not teaching the 100% doctrine. Okay, they're teaching you that you're Israelites, but other than that, they're going off on, particular things. They're going off on the MOTB. They're going off on real serious topics that are pivotal to the flock. The flock and their congregations are going to be confused because they're not teaching the 100% truth. But the men of the Lord are after the Lord's own heart, okay, like unto David. So it says, according to my heart. Whose heart? Yahweh Shemi Shai. So we're going to tell you, thus saith the Lord, not thus saith, us, and we're not trying to line our pockets. Okay, fuck these pockets, so-called fuck money. We're trying to get salvation. Okay, fuck money, fuck a fiat currency, fuck a dollar bill with some Edomites on it. The dollar bill got who on it? George Washington, man. Fuck him. That nigga's a devil. Okay, that's a damn devil on that damn money. All right, we're not telling you to do these things, man, but we're following the Lord's, and we're teaching you the 100% truth. It says, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding, and that is our job. That's what we're here to do, and that's what we will continue to do until the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai comes to deliver us, and we endure to the end, or the Lord takes the breath out of our fucking bodies, because that's all we have. All we have is Yahweh Shemi Shai. There is nothing else outside of this truth to do, to excel, other than, if you got to handle your business in life, pay your bills, go to work, whatever the fuck. But the primary thing is to fear the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai and have faith in the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai. And that faith, guess what, will be tried on whatever level that the Lord wants it to be tried on, because every brother's different. Every brother's going through their own particular hell, their own particular trials, their own particular tribulation, personally tailor-made for them, suffering, but yet they're still going to say, call out Yahweh Shemi Shai. They're still going to, keep their integrity and call upon the name of the Lord. And this is what it's all about. The apostles say that you got to fall in love with this truth. You really got to fall in love with Yahweh Shemi Shai, the process of becoming better and defeating, Satan on the spiritual side, and defeating the physical counterpart of Satan, these devils on earth, which is these Edomites, and like I say, these Israelites can come in the form of devils, and these heathens can come in the form as devil. But we know who the chief wicked is on the earth, and we know that that's Esau, Edom, according to Malachi, the first chapter. Okay, when it goes into the border of wickedness, or the people of the wicked, in Malachi, the first chapter. Okay, now going back to Proverbs 1:5. It says, a wise man will hear and will increase in learning. So when you come into this faith, you're not supposed to stay stagnant. You're not supposed to stay at one level. There was a video that I was watching through the Spirit Part Yahweh Shemi Shai. I don't remember when. It was probably 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 3, where one of the head apostles, I believe Apostle Gabar, or was it a Ramla? I don't recall, but he was speaking about, it probably was Gabar through the spirit, but he was speaking about how you, in this truth, man, you don't you want to be a dragon in wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Because he was speaking about how there are certain levels of understanding. Now, I don't remember every one of them, but I'm trying to quote them, but forgive me if I do, misquote you, but hey, he was speaking about how, there's I forget the first one, but he was speaking about how there's a toad, then you got an owl, and then you got like a dragon. And that's levels of understanding. A dragon is the highest level of understanding. And you want to be a dragon. You want to strive to be a dragon. Every man of the Lord, if you're one of the men of the Lord, you want to strive to understand these scriptures, go into these breakdowns, and have high level understanding of what you're speaking about, and so that, you can't be confounded by these fools. You know what I'm saying? And the truth, is not a simple thing. It's not just cut and dry. There are some deep things. It's parables, and this is why the Lord has put the Spirit on the prophets to understand these things. Because there's certain men on the planet that can't get this understanding. Okay, that can't get the understanding of the MOTB, no matter how easily you break it down. They can't get the understanding on Yahawashi Yahawashi. They just wicked. They just bugged out. All right, and the Lord got them in that particular lot to destroy them. All right, the Lord has men that's gonna make it, and there's men that's gonna, not gonna make it, because they're taking the truth and they're twisting it, and they're bringing facets of the world into it. They're bringing facets of niggerdom into the truth, and they're trying to mix the two. But you can't mix the two. All right, and this is what we're telling you. This is what the men of the Lord are telling you. So you can't, just teach the truth any old type of way. You want to be a dragon. You want to be an owl. You want to be as high as level as the Lord would allow you to understand this truth. Now, speak. Like I say, this is the lesson strictly through the Spirit. So this is probably gonna be a longer lesson, and sometimes you gotta sit there and really stomach longer lessons, because this is where the edification comes out. You know what I'm saying? This, especially if you're a newer brother. But we all do this for the edification, for the building of the elect. So, sometimes, lessons get long, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The Lord Yahweh Shema Shah is gonna all things work good for those that fear the Lord. Roughly paraphrasing, but it says, and a wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding shall obtain unto wise counsel. Now, who's the wise counsel? You're gonna be amongst other men that are teaching this truth, that are fearing the Lord. You know, you know, you know, you know, what's that? There's a precept. There's a precept. Let me get that. Lord willing, I can find it, because sometimes, I don't want to be drawn out trying to find a precept, but it's in the Apocrypha though. But let me do a little quick word search for it real quick. It says oh man, I'm forgetting the keywords. It's in Book of Sirach too. I think like Sirach 15. If I want to I'll look for it in Sirach if I can't find it right off the bat. Lord have mercy, I knew it. And it's hot right now. God damn. All right, let me look and if I can't find it, I just can't find it right now. But I know that when I upload this video, I'll probably be able to find it later. But nonetheless, I think the Spirit's telling me to go to Sirach 15, and it's gonna be there. Ecclesiasticus 15, I believe. Let's take a look. We can read verse 1. I believe it's in this verse, but let me just read verse 1 real quick. It says, "He that feareth the Lord," and I was just speaking about that. It says, "He that feareth the Lord, Yahawashi, will do good, and he that have knowledge of the law shall obtain her." All right. Now, let me see. Now, the her that it's talking about is wisdom. Wisdom is referred to as a he in the scripture sometimes, and it's referred to as a she in the scripture sometimes. It just depends on the context. So, Now this is a good precept in and of itself. I'm just super hot right now. God damn, bro, my car is like a fire. You know what? Let me crank up my car. Let me crank this motherfucker up. It's hot as fuck right now. I'm burning the fuck up. God damn. Make no damn sense in this bitch. Salakia, man. Salakia. Forgive me. I'm gonna try to talk loud, man. It's just hot as fuck. God damn. You know, I don't know. Hold on. Golly. It ain't so much as it's hot, or is it? I believe it's just humid right now. You know, it's not even like hot like that. It just, the air is humid as fuck. But forgive me. Now, through the spirit. Now this is, I'm gonna start here. Lord willing, you can hear me. Now it's gonna be a slight rumbling because I had to turn on the AC. But fuck it. Now it says here in Ecclesiastes 15 and 13, it says, "And the Lord hateth all abomination." So there's a lot of abominations. Being a homosexual is abomination. Being a lesbian is abomination. You know, worshiping false gods and things of that nature. That's going off. You know, but it says here in verse 14, "He himself made man from the beginning and left him in the hands of his counsel." It says in verse 15, "If thou wilt keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness." All right. But the point, oh man, what the hell? Maybe it's in 16. It's a lot, because I was looking for a particular precept. No, hold on. Let me do a word search for it. Ah, man. I could have sworn I thought it was that though. Let me see though. Let me see. If I can't find it, man, I just can't find it. I'm not finna do this. Because the only thing I can remember is I know it should have the word kind in it. Okay. Let me do one more thing, Salaki. Let me see. I mean, this ain't the precept I wanted, but it's pretty close. I'll have to look it up on my own time. I really did think it was Ecclesiastes 15 though. 'Cause I thought I made a mental note of it, but next time I probably gotta make a real note, because we in this flesh and we be really forgetting shit, and that's why we gotta get the new bodies. All right. Now, this the second Ezra's 8:49. It says, "In thou that how," it says in verse 40. Second Ezra's 8:49 says, "In thou that thou hast humbled thyself, as it becometh thee, and has not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous." It says verse 50. It says, "For many great miseries," and this is what time that we're coming into. This is why, paramount faith and fear of the Lord is very important. This is why I'm pushing that. You know what I'm saying? That we gotta have faith and fear of the Lord, because we're finna be faced with death. We're finna be faced with people trying to come against our bodies or come against the betterment. When I say come against our bodies, I mean harm us, harm our bodies, and basically come against us for fearing the Lord, for having this faith. And those that do that, they're going to be destroyed. But the Lord Yahawashi through Satan will allow them to test us just to see if we're going to fold or not. And there's going to be a lot of men, not men of the Lord, but there's going to be a lot of men who are going to fold for especially when that hour of temptation comes, which is that MOTB, that RFID chip, because they hungry, they starving, they got scared, someone threatened this, someone threatened that, and whatever the circumstances of why they fail don't matter. We're not focused. If you fall out this truth, that's you. We ain't giving a fuck. I'm not giving a fuck if a nigga fall down and he out and he do something wicked as fuck and he take the chip or something like that. Like, nigga, you through. I don't got time. We gotta focus on the elect and the ones that ain't failed, that's enduring to the end. But it says here in verse 50 again, it says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." And the wicked Israelites and these 2/3 niggas, all right, and these Edomites and these heathens round about there, and they're in a prideful state, man, because they believe that Babylon the Great, aka America, is going to last forever. They're going to bounce back. We're going to make America so-called great again. Guess what? It was never great. And at the time of its prominence, it was only prominent because the Israelites were here in captivity, doing everything, building everything, making inventions, and forwarding this kingdom, all right, because they were in slavery, they were in captivity, and yet we are still in captivity unto this very day, and we are subject to payments, bills, taxation, land tax. You don't own anything here. This isn't the rest for the children of Israel. This is just only a captivity that we're going to be delivered from. As long as we do what? Have faith in the Lord Yahawashi. So that's a principal thing. And fearing the Lord is a principal thing. All right. But destruction, death, calamity, plagues written about in 2nd Ezra's 15 and 16 that are going to come upon the earth, man. Okay. And it speaks about, plagues and bad times, beginning of sorrows in Matthew 24th chapter, in the end days, in the last days, man. And here we are. All right. So what manner of persons are we ought to be, roughly paraphrasing, Peter? We gotta be in the spirit of fearing the Lord and having faith, right? Because we know this is nothing more than a trial. This is nothing more than a script written, therefore, where we gotta be those individuals that overcome and endure the bullshit to get to where we gotta go. The scriptures speak about how it's going in Acts the 14th chapter, through great tribulation, which I'll get it. I don't want to butcher it, but I'll get it after this. But reading on, because I wanted to get the point in verse 51. It says, "But understand for thyself, and seek out the glory as for such be like unto thee." And the ones that be like unto us, Lord, wouldn't be the men of the Lord. It's the other men of the Lord. And the other elect that's going to wake up and call upon the name for the Lord and have faith in the Lord Yahawashi. So going back to here, I'm going to get that Acts 14, and I'll read the rest of this Proverbs, and then I got a little video that I want to get into. Now this is now I want to start here because, like I said, this is strictly through the Spirit, and I want to read it in the NLT. The point is further down, but I'm going strictly through the Spirit of Akakodash, and this is what the Spirit's on me to hit real quick. But it says this. Now this is the NLT, Acts NLT 19th chapter. It says, then some of the Jews, and when it speaks about Jews, it's speaking about the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Okay. It says, then some of the Jews arrived from Antioch, and it says Iconum, and won their crowds to their sides. All right. So ultimately, Paul, which is a minister of the Gentiles, he was a man of the Lord unto the Gentiles, which are Israelites that were in a Gentile state of mind, coming from being Hellenized, by these by various captivities, mostly the Greeks, Antiochus, Epiphanes, and the like, because after Antiochus, but it says, so they were soaked in heathen customs, and they had to be delivered from that, because they were ultimately that wild olive tree. But while they were uncultivated and wild, they were still Israelites. They still were a part of the fold. And some of those very same wild Israelites, or wild olive tree Israelites, were of the elect. So they had to be brought back. You understand? All right. But it says they stoned Paul and dragged him out of the town, thinking he was dead. So Paul was teaching the word, going hard, doing his thing. All right. He was doing his thing. And guess what? They raised up against him and they stoned him. And I'm sure getting stoned don't fucking feel good. You know what I'm saying? Feel like shit, probably. Getting hit with fat ass rocks. You know what I mean? But he endured that. He took that, and that might, I'm not saying that brothers is gonna get stoned, but brothers is gonna go through something. I'm not saying that that's definitely gonna happen to this person. I don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen to us, but we know that our lives is finna be on the line. We know that our heads continually roll in a form of a guillotine. We know that. We know that we're going to be tried. We know that through the Spirit, Yahawashi, that they will toss us into prison. Prepare your mind for these things. Prepare our mind for, speaking first and foremost to myself, that I know me and I'm just brothers in general are going to have to suffer these things, suffer wrongfully for the Lord, just because you believe in Yahawashi, just because you have fear that the Lord, as we're instructed, that we're not going to bow unto the image of what Edom got going on. We're not gonna bow to the image of Esau and what he got going on, which is this MOTB system, which is this digital currency, this digital technocracy, all this AI bullshit. We're not going for that, because to worship and to take that chip is to basically say that Esau is our God. Esau is over us, and Esau isn't over us. We don't serve Esau. We serve Yahawashi, and but that's gonna be tried. That's gonna be like, okay, you say this, you say you want to serve Esau, but guess what? Now I'm gonna bring him against you and have him do all manners of whatever to you to see if you really on my side or not. And we really got to stand 10 toes and not fold. Okay. And that's going to be, we're going to know in that time, and the Lord's going to be in the midst of us. He going to deliver us, man. Whether we got to go to the FEMA camp or we got to spend a little bit of time in the prison and whatever they want to do, we're going to hold out and we're going to endure it, because that's what we got to do. There's nothing else you can do. We can't bitch up. We can't, we already know it's gonna happen, because they hated Yahawashi. They ain't gonna hate us, and we claiming to be of his men. All right, so we're gonna have to go through these things as well. All right, there's no way around it. But it says, the point is here, it says they stoned Paul and dragged him out of the city, thinking he was dead. So yeah. But it says in verse 20, same NLT, but as the believers gathered around him, he got back up. He got back up. He fell. You know what I'm saying? They got him with a good one. Satan was on them people. They were being wicked. Coming against the men of the Lord. But through the Spirit, probably, how about you, man? What did Paul do? Did he be like, man, they just tried to kill me. They just tried to stone me. Fuck this shit. I give up. No, he didn't give up, man. And we can't be in the spirit of giving up. So cause look, we have great men, patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the other men, Joshua, Caleb, I'm just to name a few, just write it, just naming them randomly. But we have great men, the story of the Maccabee brothers, that have really, call upon the name of the Lord, Yahawashi, and won, and was successful. So we got to believe on the true non-fictional stories of our patriarchs, and the other great men of Israel, that are Israelites, and believe that, look, the Lord was with them, then the Lord's gonna be with us in these times, because we're the same people coming back anyway. We are the Israelites, through the spirit power Yahawashi, through bloodline descendancy. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just spirit. We're not spiritual Israelites. We are the Israelites by blood. Okay, going back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. But it says here, but as the believers gathered around him, he got back up and went into town. The next day, he left with Barnabas for Debris. So, reading on in verse 21, the point. It says, this is NLT. It says, in preaching the good news and Debris, making many disciples, Paul and Barnabas returned to Lystra and Iconium, and Antioch of Pisidia, where they strengthen the believers. All right, and that's what we're doing. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm strengthening the believers by exhorting them to believe in Yahawashi, to prepare their minds, prepare their souls, prepare everything that you got to prepare. Make sure you pray and make sure you fast, and if whatever you do, to go through tribulation, to go through times of unease, to go through times of distress, and to be like, damn, fuck, they on my ass right now. Well, guess what? We got to endure that. All right, because we got to get our crowns, man. We gonna truly let these fucking, or we gonna let these 2/3 niggas, we gonna let Esau, the devil, and who's the wicked, the base man on the planet, take our crowns away from us, man. When we are the gods of this earth, we're gonna rule, we're gonna have dominion. That this is what the Lord Yahawashi has promised us. Or we're gonna let these people take our shit and put us in fear because they come after our life, they come after our children. Man, fuck all that, man. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that. We don't got nothing. All we got is Yahawashi. That's all we got. Fuck this life. Fuck a car. Fuck money. Fuck a bitch. Fuck pussy. Fuck all that. All we got is Yahawashi. That's the only thing that's really real. That's really for certain. Everything else is gonna change. Everything else is gonna fold on you. Your woman, she gonna fold on you. Your parents, they gonna fold on you. Your grandparents, they gonna fold on you. All right. What else? Goddamn. Your own flesh will fucking fold on you. So you gotta be in the spirit, man. You gotta pray unto the Lord Yahawashi to give us the strength necessary to go through the fuck shit and go through the times that we're coming into, and not only the times that we come through now, even the times that we're in whatever brothers is going through in their present moment, to get to the times to where ultimately we endure all this shit. We gotta pray. We gotta be prayed up, man. Okay, we gotta be on point. We gotta have spiritual discernment. All right, because they coming. All right, because this place finna get wicked out here, man. It's wicked. It's already wicked, but it's finna get worse, especially for those that believe in the Lord, because the Lord's gonna do what? Send them after us to try our faith, to try us. Do you really believe in me? Well, guess what? We're gonna see, because I'm gonna bring them to you, and I'm gonna let them do what they do unto you, but keep the faith. That's the whole thing. That's what I'm preaching. Fear the Lord and keep the faith, because we're gonna need it. First off and foremost, speaking unto myself, but hey, look, at the end of the day, still strengthening and building up and encouraging brothers to believe in Yahawashi and hold on. But it says they encourage them to continue in the faith, reminding them that we must suffer many hardships. Some bullshit, man. You're gonna go through some bullshit. But guess what? You know that when you going through that bullshit, okay, bet the Lord's dealing. Okay, bet. Oh, I know. Okay, they doing this. Okay, I ain't even do nothing, but they still doing that. Okay, all right, bet. Then suffer it. It says suffer many hardships to enter into the kingdom of the Most High. All right, so this is we're strengthening brothers, man. I'm strengthening brothers, Lord willing. But let's go back to this Proverbs 1 and 6. It says to understand a proverb is KJV, but to understand a proverb and the interpretation of the word of the wise and their dark sayings. All right, because these scriptures are written in a parable. The only one that's really going to understand these scriptures is really going to understand them 100%. The truth of these scriptures is the elect. Everybody else is going to be bugged out. So don't be trying to fucking teach Pookie and Ray Ray about the fact that they Israelites. Them niggas is niggas. Let them niggas be niggas. Let them be filthy. Let them be dirty. And let them die. All right, because the Lord ain't dealing with them. So listen, if a nigga ain't getting it, man, move on. All right, but the point here is in verse 7. The fear of the Lord Yahawah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. All right, and we need these things, man. We need knowledge. We need wisdom. All right, but that comes from instruction. The Lord told us what to do and how to move, so we got to follow his lead. That's what the woman do. We are the woman of the Lord. Like the scriptures refer to Israel as a comely and delicate woman. When we go into Jeremiah 6 and 1 or 6 and 3 is in the earlier chapters, or in the earlier verses 1 through 3, roughly paraphrasing, is around there. But if what does a woman do? They follow the lead of their man or their husband, and our husband is what is who? Yahawashi. All right, so the Lord told us to hold on, and we got to hold on until he come deliver us. That's what we got to do. All right, we can't neglect the way. We can't disobey and be on some bullshit, or we gonna get destroyed for being carnal. All right, now I want to play a little bit of this video, and it's just a little bit because this is a particular, Lord willing, okay, this is a particular person that I do watch sometimes, but not a lot, but he be saying things that that be on point, but some of the stuff he says ain't on point because he's not a man of the Lord. Okay, he's just some nigga in the world, focusing on getting that money. But money is not going to deliver you from the wrath of the Lord Yahawashi. It's not going to deliver you from famine. It's not going to deliver you from the plagues. It's not going to deliver you from all what the Lord got coming upon the earth. All right, the only way that you're going to be delivered is if you're of the hopeful elect, if you have that faith, and you're fearing the Lord, because guess what? Let's get this before I play that video, and it's not long. I'm gonna let him speak for like 30 seconds, not long, because this is what the Lord said. This is what the Lord looking for. This is what you need. You don't need money. Okay, now money is a defense, and you need money to pay bills and shit. Don't be fucking foolish and just be a bum. Have a job, do what you gotta do, pay your bills. Handle your business as a man, whatever you gotta do. But nonetheless, don't be thinking that, oh man, I got $1 million in the bank, quote unquote, the Lord gonna deliver me. No, especially if not for these fucking wicked ass celebrity niggas and niggas that got the quote unquote bag. That bag ain't gonna save you. The bag that we looking for is the bag of what? Faith. The bag of faith in the Lord, who? Yahawashi. Now this is Luke 18:8. It says, I would tell you, he would avenge them speedily. Who is he gonna avenge? The elect. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man, who's the Son of Man? Yahawashi. It says, cometh, shall he find faith on earth? So what is the principal thing that the Lord is looking for when he comes back? Yahawashi comes back, our Lord, our Savior. He's looking for that faith. He's looking for those that endured to the end. He's looking for those that didn't give up the fight, that kept fighting, that held on until the Lord Yahawashi delivered us. That's what he's looking for, okay? Now, let's go back to this video. And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna play, and he's finna speak about money. He's finna speak about what he calls the chicken bag. And I was thinking about it when I was listening to the video earlier, because I done seen this video like a minute ago, but I was thinking about how he was speaking. He had this term called chicken bag, and it's funny because chicken bag basically in his terms means money, okay? But now, like I say, money is the defense, but it's not the principal thing. Okay, the principal thing is the fear of the Lord, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, that's what's gonna keep you stable. Some fiat currency with white people faces on it, or so-called white people, Edomites on it, ain't gonna deliver you. But what's gonna deliver you is faith and fear in the Lord Yahawashi, which is the principal thing. Now I'm gonna let him speak for a second, and then I'm gonna go back to the scriptures, and then I'm gonna wrap this up.
Because everything else that you're thinking about has to be benefited from what? The chicken bag. So now that you have the chicken bag, you're not thinking about anything. I'm finna get crispy, so now you go get crispy. Now you go get a haircut. man, you crispy as hell. You feeling good. We know how I feel when you leaving the barbershop and you feeling good. Without that chicken bag though, you will have to go another 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks. Right? Yes. And it's night and day difference when you get that haircut. Okay. Then, you know, it's Friday, you know what I'm saying? Your homie hit you up, bruh. Your homie hit you up. Hey, bro, let's step out. Man, let's step out, man. I got some group of homies with me, man. We got some homegirls with us, bro. We finna just step out. We finna step out. All right, bet. Where we going? When we gonna go, man? Let's go to Bob's Steakhouse, man. Downtown Austin, man. Let's come to Bob's Steakhouse. All right, cool. We're gonna go to Bob's Steakhouse. Get the Bob's Steakhouse, you know, park the car, you know what I'm saying? Get the valet parking, you know, because the car costs too. So the valet parking costs and the car costs.
All right, cool. You know, for all what this nigga talking about right now, because he started going into some folly. But, you know, and you know, he was speaking about cost, how everything costs, and everything do cost. And things of that nature. Now, he was speaking about getting crispy. No, I'm not advocating to get fucking crispy. Fuck all that, nigga. You shouldn't even be getting a lineup or nothing like that, period. You should, you know, take care of yourself and trim yourself up. You know what I'm saying? But all that little fucking lining all that shit up and doing all that extra shit, that's not of our customs, that's of heathen customs, and we're not supposed to be doing that according to the scriptures, according to the law. And but yeah, then he also spoke about stepping out. Ain't nothing wrong with stepping out with the brothers, the Akim, and things of that nature. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but you know, you gotta step out with wisdom. You gotta step out with understanding. All right, and if you don't got no brothers around you, no Akim, no true men of the Lord, or Akim, you know, around you, then I wouldn't even step out. You know, if you want to step out by yourself and, you know, treat yourself, then cool, man. But, you know, overly stepping out and doing too much out here in these streets is will be led to your detriment. You know, especially because all we really got to do is teach the word and go the fuck home and sit our ass down. We don't got to be doing all this shit. We don't got to be entertaining these hoes. We don't got to do shit. These hoes is wicked. These hoes is refurbished. These hoes are wicked as fuck, man. These hoes got refurbished box. They got nothing but demons and problems. Fuck you want to be around them for? All right, but you know, every man gonna do what he want to do. You know, I'm not speaking to tell you what to do. I'm telling you to use wisdom and know that these hoes ain't shit. But you know that already through the spirit. More than likely, you know that. I don't gotta tell you that, but you know that. All right. But all I'm saying, we too close to the fucking end to be out here entertaining dumb shit. Fuck these niggas. Fuck these hoes. Serve the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all that matters. At the end of the day, what really matters? What really matters? Does getting some pussy really matter? Like, really think about that. Does it really matter? Does it really fucking matter? When the Lord Yahawashi said that, you know, serve me, you gonna get all these things, man. So what's the fucking point? Now, I'm not saying you can't do what you want to do. You know, do what you want to do, or do what you gotta do with wisdom. But at the end of the day, principally, man, fuck all them people. Fuck them niggas. Fuck them bitches. Fuck a club. Fuck a lounge. Fuck it. Cause guess what? We got eternity to do all that shit. Like, how about let's serve the Lord now? How about let's be on point? You know, to the best of our ability. You know, let's make sure these lessons is getting out. All right. Let's make sure we praying. Let's make sure we, you know, cause we finna come into the worst time ever. You know what I'm saying? We don't got all the time in the world, all the damn time, every damn day. You know, all the damn time, every damn day to be stepping out, trying to seek after some fucking hoes that you know are hoes. You know these bitches ain't shit. So what's up? You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it a beam, man. But hey, you know, with wisdom, do what you got to do. Now, bro, talking about the chicken bag. The chicken bag equals money. But I'm finna go into Hebrews, the 12th chapter, going to our patriarchs that these great men that are our patriarchs, going to Hebrews, the 12th chapter, they didn't have the chicken bag. Okay, it wasn't about the chicken bag. It was about faith and Yahawah Bashim Yahawashi. That was what it was about. Let's jump down to the point. I think it's Salakia. It might be Hebrews 13. Hold on, this ain't it. Hold on. Oh my God, that's a lot. This should be tripping. Okay, it's Hebrews 11. I thought it was 13 for some fucking reason. I don't know. I'm gonna start at let's start at 16. This is Hebrews 11 and 16, and this is gonna be the last precept, of course. It says, but now they desire a better country. Now, this is the Israelites, of course, because we've been kicked out of the land of Israel, and we haven't been back since, all the 12 tribes back in the land as a collective. We're gonna go back, once the Lord Yahawashi cleans up that land, and because that land is gonna get destroyed and made desolate as well, but it's gonna be built back up. America in and of itself, Babylon the Great, is not going to be built back up. It's going to remain desolate forever. But it says in verse 16, but now they desire a better country, that is, a heavenly, wherefore the Most High is not ashamed to be called their power, for he has prepared for them a city. And first and foremost, that starts with the Israelites. That starts from within. You know what I'm saying? Because it's before it's it's a people before it's a place. So because we're gonna make up the city, the people, the elect, first on, part of the first resurrection, of course, But the point is here in verse 17, by faith. Now this is all the point here. It's not about the chicken bag. It's not about money. It was all by faith. Faith it was about that faith bag. Abraham and all the people that he's finna name, I'm finna go into, they was able to triumph and do great things through Yahawashi, through faith, through the faith bag, not through the chicken bag, the money bag. No. The money and all that shit is, like I say, is a defense. It's cool, to handle your business. But at the end of the day, you is not getting on no chariot talking about some fucking money, some damn chicken bag, some damn getting crispy. How about your ass gonna be crispy when the Lord Yahawashi hit you with them nuclear missiles, bitch, if you don't repent, fear the Lord, and have faith in Yahawashi, you're gonna be cooked, nigga. Call out Yahawashi 744. Now it says, by faith, Abraham. See, it says by faith though. By faith, that's the real currency that we're looking forward to investing in these last days. But it says by faith, when he offered up Isaac and had received promises. Wait, hold up. It says he that had received promises offered up his only son, his only begotten son. It says, of whom it was said that Isaac shall thy seed be called, because the promises go through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It says in verse 19, it says, accounting that the Most High was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he was. It says, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in figure. It says in verse 20, and by faith, once again, faith is a principle. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come, because Jacob got the principal blessing of the kingdom of everything being Lord and being, corn and wine, just the whole kingdom in and of itself. But Esau also got a blessing that was temporal, and Esau, is playing out his temporal blessing. So we're finna get the crowns. We're finna be, glorified and justified by Yahawashi, and Esau's finna be destroyed. So, but in the midst of that, Edom's gonna try to come after the Israelites. He's gonna try to come after us. So we know that Edom got a temporal blessing. So how are we gonna bitch up and let his temporal blessing, which is the sword, take us away from Yahawashi, and we got the eternal, immortal, perpetual blessing to fold up to Esau, and his lame ass blessing that he got, which is nothing more than the sword, would be retarded. All right. It says in verse 21, by faith Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both his sons. Joseph worshipped, leaning upon the top of his staff. So like it says, by faith Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel, and gave commandment concerning his bones. It says by faith, everything's by faith, man. It says, I'm gonna get one last precept after this, of course, but it says, but by faith Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. All right, we can't be afraid of the king of this world, or the kings of this society, which are these Edomites, when they come down with that wrath, because they're gonna have a commandment to be chipped. They're gonna have a commandment to bow down to their image. And what we gonna do? Nah, we gonna be a proper child and have faith in the Lord that He's gonna deliver us from these fucking wicked men, these wicked and bloody men. Okay, it says in verse 24, by faith, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. All right, it says in verse 25, this is what we ought to pay attention to. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy sin, the pleasures of sin for a season. All right, and this is what the wicked 2/3 of Israel are going to be doing when they take that chip. They're going to be enjoying sin and the pleasures of having the chip for a short amount of time, a temporal amount of time, because Esau has a temporal blessing, and they're going to get hit with those missiles, and they're going to be set on fire. They're going to get hit with chariot fire, the missiles. They're going to get judged. Okay, and that's the main point I wanted to bring out on that. But let me read verse 26 real quick. It says, and this is the point, by faith he was able to do all these things. It wasn't about the chicken bag. And guess what? If he would have been called the Pharaoh's, if he would have, went to serve, if he would have been called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, he would have had the chicken bag. He would have had money. Because trust me, Pharaoh had money. He had everything. If Moses could have been a wicked nigga and lived it up like a motherfucker, but he didn't, because he knew the bigger picture, and that's what I'm telling Akim, to see the bigger picture and serving the Lord, and what we ought to do, what we're here to do is to serve the Lord and see the bigger picture and endure until the end, because that's all we got, man. Truly. It says in verse 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Verse 26, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach Yahawashi greater riches than the treasures of Egypt. Okay, the 2/3 of Israel, they love the treasures of Egypt, because Egypt just goes into Mizraim, which goes into just bondage, another bondage. Is Babylon the Great, another bondage, another Mizraim for the children of Israel. All right, and they love it here. They love the treasures. They love the fiat currency. They love money. They love refurbished box. They love women disrespecting them. Okay, they love not having virgins. Okay, they love paying for shit. They love they love the nigga woman. They love disorder. Okay, they love smoking. They love the health system. They love being taxed to death. Okay, they love driving their fucking Maybachs in whatever fucking retarded ass car they got. What else they love? They love getting indoctrinated. They love getting lied to. Okay, they love being downtrodden. They love being at the bottom. Okay, they love to suffer wrong. They love to suffer. They love to suffer in a sense of, they love to suffer because they're wicked. They just love to just suffer in general, and wonder why it's happening, and yet they don't go to the Lord and inquire. Or when the answer is given unto them why they are suffering, because Yahawashi, you sinned against the Lord, etc., etc., etc. They like, nah, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the men of the Lord. So guess what? They're gonna die. Scriptures speak about in the Apocrypha how the unrighteous generation, roughly paraphrasing, how they're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? But it says, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. What's the reward of what? The reward of serving the Lord over serving these fucking heathens over serving your own belly, over serving, your own mind. We're not here to do our own thing. But it says here in verse 27, by faith he forsook Egypt. By faith. You gotta forsake this goddamn Babylon the Great, aka America. You gotta forsake this fucking place. Fuck this place. Fuck these hoes. Fuck these niggas. Fuck the 2/3. Fuck these wicked Israelites. Fuck them. You know what I mean? You gonna let these people stop you from getting your crown, from stop you from getting your spiritual power, from stop you from being accepted and justified by the blood of Yahawashi? I think not. I'll be damned. You know what I'm saying? We gotta suffer that shit. But it says in verse 27, by the faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured seeing him who was invisible. All right. So he held on. He held fast, and that's what we gotta do. Hold fast to our profession. Roughly paraphrasing. So let me get another precept going into the principal thing, which is faith and fear of the Lord. Now this is Romans 1:17. There is righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just, we are the just, Lord willing, shall live by faith. So that's the principal thing, man. The just shall live by faith. And it's repeated in the scriptures a lot of times, or a good number of times. So let me get a precept. I think it's in Proverbs. It's the last precept I want to bring out. Call it Yahawashi, but it says, he that trusteth in his own heart is a fool. So we can't trust in what the fuck we want to do. Get the chicken bag, brother. Go get crispy, brother. Go fuck on these hoes, brother. Man, fuck all that. Go smoke some weed, brother. Eat it. No, we ain't doing that. We're gonna fear the Lord Yahawashi and suffer this fuck shit until he come deliver us, man. Cause that's what the elect supposed to do, and we, Lord willing, we fulfilling that lot. So with all that being said, I want to say shalom, but I'm gonna read the rest of this precept. Salak, my bad, I didn't even read it all. It says, he that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whosoever walketh wisely shall be delivered. And ain't that what we looking for? So we gotta walk circumspectly, with wisdom, through fear, and through the faith in Yahawashi. So with all that being said, I want to say shalom, Lord willing, it was edifying unto the hopeful elect. Shalom to the next video. This has been Brother Malachi. Double honors to the apostle of great millstone, the will and the teacher of shalom.